There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes.
This is what it is, okay? I said, empty your mind. Be formless. Shapeless. Like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing, but there's a reason. I don't like Facebook, and I don't like the internet. The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
This is absolutely lit. This is lit.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. Welcome to the stream. Come on in here, get comfortable, get vulnerable. Go ahead and take your pants off if you like. It's not a requirement for tonight. Sometimes it is in here. Okay? Tonight, it's up to you. All right? Mods, I don't want any enforcement of the pants off rule. We're not doing that tonight. It's voluntary tonight. Might do some probing. Tonight, the topic is the bleep act and scientists / inventors meeting strange fate possibly related to this act. I don't know how many times I should repeat this. I mean, you know what? I guess we'll just say, que sera, whatever will be to the algorithms tonight. I don't think this is a favored topic for the algos, okay? But we'll just say the Invention Secrecy Act of 1950. What? 2, is it? I forget. I think it is 52. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to talk about this tonight. I mentioned this, I teased the topic for tonight last night. And I said this, I think, every time there's some drama over some goddamn oil, I don't know about you guys, but this little fact comes to mind and brings everything back into context. Like, yeah, this is probably... We can argue about all of the logistics and politics behind everything going on with Strait of Hormuz and Iran and the United States government. We can take it seriously and argue about it and stuff. But when it comes down to it, we know there are thousands. This is like verified. There are thousands of patents that have been seized by the United States government due to them, being some kind of a risk to national security. And often that risk falls under the, the inventions relating to propulsion and alternative fuel and stuff like that. A number of these patents have been seized, being that they're alternative fuel sources, propulsion technology, and this kind of thing that would have a possibly profoundly negative, or maybe not a negative effect on the economy, but something that will shift the levers of power and who gets access to them within society. Life-changing, economy-changing, power structure changing inventions that they confiscate in that they fall under the umbrella of being a threat to national security. So we're going to take a look at some of this tonight. And then also, first I think we'll touch on, and it's a possibility, I think, guys. I don't think this is too crazy of a concept here. I think it's a possibility, and there have been whisperings of this, that these two things are related. Well, we will touch on some of the people throughout history that have invented different kind of vehicles and stuff like that run on, water and stuff like that. We'll touch on some of that, but also we're going to take a look at some of the recent scientists. I think there's a ninth scientist now that of a nine people, you could say they're all related, these 9 scientists, and there's a ninth one now that has gone missing, or has passed away under some mysterious circumstances. And it's interesting. Now, most of these people, if not all of them, we'll double check some of this, but most of these people, these scientists that have either gone missing or passed away or been taken out, like Kirk, they got kirked. Most of them are working. They specialize in the field of propulsion and this type of thing. A couple of them are like NASA scientists and stuff like that. So, and some people have floated this idea that this may be a similar situation, what we're seeing with these scientists going missing and or being taken out, that they're actually this is the same thing that's happened to the people throughout history that have invented alternative fuel sources for cars and things like that, that these scientists may be taken out because they were whistleblowers or going to, just imagine if you are a scientist that you're just somebody who's honestly worked hard, gone to school, studied, really paid attention and tried to be in the head of your field. And you go work for Los Alamos or NASA or something like that, where they have you working on projects to advance techniques or technology for propulsion. And you work at one of these places and you figure out, just imagine, you're an honest, just regular person. Like, you know what? I want to work and make good money, support my family, and possibly make the world a better place by advancing technology that'll help the world advance. And you discover some kind of technology that is, like I described earlier, is something that is life-changing, economy-changing, power shifting. But the way you see it is, either if something like, imagine free energy or something like this, if you discover this, if you're one of these scientists and you say, this is something that's so incredible, like, I know I've been hired and I probably signed some bullshit saying that if I leak this information, they can sue the absolute shit out of me or something, some kind of non-disclosure agreement. You've probably signed something like, but imagine if there's something that could actually save the world and it was too irresistible to not try to spread the word on it. Then they just take your ass out. We've got wars that we need to fund, guys. We've got oil to fight over. Maybe that's the case. All right, let's get to the chat. I already got you guys up on the page here. Where are we? Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble tonight, lovers. Wherever you're at, get in the chat. Double up on your ivermectin doses. We're going to get wild in here tonight. Okay? Get your tinfoil hat. Matty P's up in here. Thank God we got a mod. Bob Cook, Coke Can Cook. Johnny Z is in here. Don't ask me why they call him Coke Can Cook. I refuse to say. Ask the ladies. This story keeps getting crazier and crazier. It does. I might be a couple minutes late. Someone said, did someone save a seat for Maddie? Kenny Powers is up in here. Thank God we got another mod. We need it. Oh, yeah. No Scott Starboard show tonight. That's why we're on a little early, guys, if you hadn't noticed. Hutch is up in here. We're missing our Scott Starboard. Eatmore's up in here. What's up, lover? White People's Taco Night, followed by Mayfield Peaches and Cream. Bro, I love some peaches, man. I don't know why I've been sleeping on peaches for a long time. My mom has my mom passed, but she has a peach tree at her property that we have not sold yet. And they're coming in. They're still pretty small, but they're coming in. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait. I can't wait for these peaches. I've been buying, just because I saw them growing on my mom's tree a few weeks ago, I've been buying diced peaches, organic diced ones in the pre-slice, sitting in the peach juice. Oh, they're so good. Peaches are the best. I need to find like not diced organic peaches that I can just cut myself, and they'll probably be cheaper. I really don't even know where the fuck. I looked for them when I went to Sprouts. I'm gonna try Whole Foods or something. Where was I in the chat? I popped out. Why is there a hubcap in the thumbnail? There's an alien writing in that hubcap. That's why. Johnny Z, lover. Just what they play in the lobby of Mar-a-Lago. What, the intro song? Get Scott to wear a wife beater? AZ's up in here. I got mud on my trousers and snot on my sleeve, but I showed up with bells on for Dark Patch Steve. I like that. AZ, I appreciate the effort you put into your first chat of the night. I answered this. I'm going to skip right past that, Maddie. There's an alien in it. Topped off and got 20 cents per gallon off with Circle K rewards, $3.99 a gallon. We shouldn't have to be, struggling for rewards points to get gas under $4 a gallon. That's not America. That's some other fucked up country like North Korea or something. You need like social currency points to get under fucking China or something. If you want to pay under $5 a gallon, you have to have like open the door for an old lady or something like that. Not America. Not here. Not in my sweet, sweet America. Okay, guys, where do we want to start with this? Let me take a look at, I got a lot of this saved on Twitter. So yeah, 9 top scientists. Again, guys, these are like people that are like in the head, ahead of their field. God damn, I sound retarded sometimes. At the head of their field, 9 top scientists have died or gone. Did I get you guys? Yeah, died or gone missing. Their work closely overlaps, tied to NASA, Los Alamos, which Los Alamos, if we remember, Los Alamos is the, I think it's specifically a propulsion lab. Like they do propulsion stuff, right? Research over there, and that's where what's his name said he worked. The fuck? What's his name? Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar, the UFO guy that claimed they had, UFOs that they were reverse engineering at S4 near Area 51. So all and Los Alamos, all connected through the same defense space research web. The pattern is unsettling. The silence around it is even more so. So let's see here. This is just showing us where they died at or where they're from. This shows the connection. So check this out. Someone made a little graph here. Let me do this and go down here so you guys can see it a little bit bigger. Okay, so this guy, Frank Maywald, top scientist detecting signs of alien life tied to NASA. He's gone. This guy's gone. Gone too. We're going to say that instead of that word. Scientists work, Carl Grillmeyer, scientists working on infrared telescopes. Grillmeyer's work found planet with water. Another guy, gone, tied to NASA, worked on deflecting asteroids from Earth. Michael David Hicks. Missing, so we're going to say that's just gone. Missing. Monica Jacinto Riza, director of Materials Processing Group. So, and this is how they're tying some of these people together here is AFRL Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. She received funding from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And then this guy, William Neal McCaslin, also gone, missing, oversaw funding for Riza's project, who is this lady. So he oversaw the funding she got from Wright-Patterson Air Force. That ties these two together. Then you go this guy, McCaslin is oversaw research at this base, Kirtland Air Force Base. And then we've got these two people missing, Melissa Cassius and Anthony Chavez, administrative assistant and former employee until 2017 at Los Alamos National Lab. And again, this ties, we've got base collaborations with LAN on nuclear research. So these two collaborated. That's how every single one of these people is connected. Every one of these 9 people that have either gone missing or been, kirked. Let me make sure. Let's look this up. Let's make sure of. Let me pull up an article. Let's verify how each of these people got taken out, because I believe there are at least 2 or 3 of these, right, that actually got shot. Am I wrong? Let me see. Hold on. Here, let me get you. Let me just bring you guys to this page. Here we go. Guys, don't let me forget. Actually, I should get up right now and go get it. I got to get my protein shakes and stuff. Hold on. I'll be right back. Oh, God. Hold on. I'll be right back. Hold on. I'm back. I'm in the room. I know you can hear me. I got a few snacks. We got our 2 protein shakes. Let's see what we got, guys, right here. We got Greek yogurt, organic, unflavored, fat-free Greek yogurt. We've got chicken bone broth with sea salt. Incredible source of protein. Very clean. It's less than 1 gram of fat per serving, 10 grams of protein per serving. And then we've got my vomit in a bottle that I like to call my protein shakes. It definitely looks like puke, but it tastes a lot better than puke, I swear. At least a little better. We did chest today, guys. Chest. It was chest day. Bam, 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 bam. Chest day. Yeah, dude, it's pretty cool. So when I stopped fasting for a while, even though my health was not doing super well, my blood sugar levels and stuff were all over the place and I wasn't really doing well, but I was still gaining muscle mass because I was eating a lot of protein and working out. And I was scared that when I got back to fasting that I was going to lose that strength, like the muscle mass and stuff. But dude, and chest day is one of the days where it hits me hardest, and it's the scariest too because I've got the weight right over my neck, basically. And if I'm not strong enough to do the rep, then I could die. So that's concerning. But yeah, I'm still pretty much right where I was when I stopped, or when I started doing fasting again. Oh, okay, where were we? Oh God, I was about to read something. Gross. Here, let me finish up my little snack. I need my water. See, and when you finish the protein shake, you got to pour some water in the bottle to get that residue. I paid for all of that product that's on the side of the bottle there, all that nasty stuff. I paid for that. One more. Let's get that away from the laptop. Damn, I didn't make either of those. What do we say? Get a nice little mouthful of the chicken broth. This is not how you're supposed to consume chicken broth. You're supposed to like make some soup or dip or something with this shit. I just drink it like this because I'm a fucking beast. I'm a twinkish beast. Do another. That's nasty. It's just like salty drinking chicken soup cold. Oh, God. Disgusting. And here we go with some Greek yogurt. And if you see here, you have to stir it because it separates. Gotta stir that a little bit. That's what I like about the yogurt. It's living in here. It's alive and breathing. Men might want to start eating some kefir and Greek yogurt and stuff. You need your lactobacillus. It's healthy for your balls. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mark Roy's in here. What's up, bro? Little Snack is Steve's nickname for his boyfriend. Mark Roy asks, how much can you bench press? I'm only I'm probably a little under 140, but I'm like about 140 pounds is what I weigh. I'm only 5'7", As you can tell, I'm gearing you up. I'm preparing you to not react so badly when I give you a pathetic number for what my bench press is. I don't really know exactly. I don't even like think about, I'm not somebody that brags about how much I bench. I just like to be in good shape. So like I'm trying to, and granted I have some injuries and stuff I'm trying to get over, but I'm trying to get back up to doing 4 plates total on a on an Olympic bar, 2 45s on each side. That's like pretty much or like give or take 5-10 pounds, or take 5 or 10 pounds. I'm probably just under doing 4 45 plates total plus the bench. So yeah, it's not that impressive or anything, but yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm not trying to compete with anybody doing benching. You know what's funny is I've seen guys that look like they're on like steroids and test and stuff, growth hormone, that are not benching. They're doing what's it called? Dumbbell press. The dumbbells, not with the barbell, but with the dumbbell. They're bench pressing with dumbbells, 2 separate dumbbells. And dude, I can do 80 pounds each. I can do that at least when I'm not injured. I can do 80 pounds each, and I can get them up like 3 times. And I've seen people that are actually a lot bigger than me struggle with like hundreds. So like something about doing the bench press with the bar isolating the weight, I feel like it's weird. I don't know. It doesn't make sense why. Like I feel like there's people my size or like a little bit bigger that do like an actual large amount, a fair amount more in bench press. But it seems like different than that. Like I seem to excel a little better with the dumbbell press, I think. I don't know. Anyway. I topped out at 60 pounds each with the dumbbell presses today. Because again, one of my injuries I'm getting over is here in my elbow. Dude, it's the worst. It's all the connective stuff for when you go like this, when you like, and dude, when my arms like that, it hurts. Not like bad, but it's like I have discomfort when I do that. Just like, and that of course messes with picking up the weights, grabbing them and everything. So it's been a bitch. But I'm good enough now that I can pick up a lot of weight and it doesn't affect it at all. I just got to be careful with like back day and shoulder day, basically, when I'm like doing bent over rows and trying to pull them up like that. Oh my God. If I do too much weight, it tears that shit right out. It's terrible. All right, let's go back to this deal. That's what I was about to. Let's take a look at this. Cluster of 9 U.S. scientists and researchers, primarily linked to NASA and Air Force Research Laboratory and nuclear research, have died or gone missing since 2023. Cases including unexplained deaths, suspected murders, and disappearances of individuals with expertise in aerospace, rocket materials, and sensitive defense technology. Michael David Hicks, deceased, specializing in asteroids. No cause of death released. Okay, we're just gonna do that. We're just gonna do that. They're gonna be pronounced dead, and they're just not. No one's gonna tell us anything. We're gonna play that game. Monica Reza, this lady, missing, aerospace engineer, rocket material expert. disappeared June of 2025. I remember that. William Neil McCaslin, retired Air Force, managed $2.2 billion, disappeared in February of this year. Is that the most, that's not the most recent one, is it? No cause of death release, Frank Maywald. Shot in 2025, Nuno Lario, shot in 2025. Jason Thomas, Novartis pharmaceutical researcher, disappeared December of 2025, found in a lake in March 2026. I'm assuming they found him dead. Yes, deceased. Okay. Found in a lake. Wouldn't it be funny if he was still alive? They found him in a lake. He was just fishing. Like, he's just been hiding. Melissa Cassius, missing, administrative staff at Los Alamos National Laboratory. And then we got Anthony Chavez, last but not least, Los Alamos laboratory worker, missing in 2025. Let's see if there's Avi Loeb. Who is that? We'll take a look at that. It's gonna take no. It's a.
The finer things at Domino's come in black and gold boxes, like their handmade pan pizza with melted.
Domino's is the worst. You guys know how much I hate Domino's.
Welcome back. A string of mysterious deaths and disappearances involve some of the nation's top scientific minds. The most recent.
Truth is unbreakable. What's up, Truth? Welcome, welcome.
Case involves William Neil McCaslin, a retired Air Force general who left his New Mexico home and has not been seen.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. I just saw this. Nice. That's great. Yeah, I've been keeping up with the workouts. Guys, sometimes, you know what? It's fucking how much. Yeah, Kenny says, how much can this lady bench? She probably benches more than me. Sometimes it is hard, guys. I've been working out. I have been working out since I was in middle school. And I've pretty much there's been a few times when I turned into it. Well, actually just once. Really, it's just been one prolonged period when I turned into a junkie and was doing painkillers and pretty much stopped working out. And it's a miracle that I ever got back to it. But yeah, pretty much since I was in middle school, high school, at least since high school, I've been working out like at bare minimum 5 days a week since high school. So like it is, some days I get up and I'm just like, I just don't want to effing do it today. And then once I get out there and I get like 3 sets in, something like that, and I start to barely get the pump, I'm just like, oh hell yeah, we doing this shit. I'm all about this shit.
He is the 9th.
I want to get as big as this bitch.
High-level researcher to vanish or die. While some cases involve clear foul play, others are a mystery, fueling speculation about whether the specialists were targeted due to their proximity to sensitive government data. We want to bring into the conversation Avi Loeb. He's a theoretical physicist who works on astrophysics.
Oh, I have heard this name before. Yeah. Avi Loeb.
Cosmology. He's also professor of science at Harvard and has written several books. Avi, thank you so much for talking about such an important topic with us.
Thanks for having me.
You know, let's start with this. Did you know any of these scientists, and can you speak to their contributions in your field?
Yeah, so each of them has different expertise. But I think it looks like these cases are unrelated because the common denominator of the practicing scientist is not great. And I would caution of assigning too much significance to those. Of course, each of these cases is a mystery that has to be resolved.
This guy's just worried he's on the list, guys. Don't let him fool you. Okay, this guy's shitting his pants over here. This guy's sitting in a full diaper right now because he's worried he's going to get taken out. He's like, I don't see any connection.
So it's possible that there was someone aiming to harm those individuals, but I don't think it shows some evidence for a plan. Just because these people, for example, worked on unidentified anomalous phenomena, there is nothing of that nature related to some of those individuals, and I would not be too concerned about this being coordinated.
The aliens killed them. He's trying to hide it.
Very interesting you bring that up, Avi, saying that you don't believe that there's evidence of this, mass plan. But I think, antennas go up when they hear people are linked through a secret program. And, maybe, this is why they would be targeted. That's what a lot of people think. What kind of programs are we talking about when we talk about some of these missing scientists that we're showing you right now, their names are part of? What kind of secret programs are involved here?
Well, some of these programs relate to the Air Force. These are programs to develop technologies that are useful for the Air Force, that are classified. And others relate to nuclear fusion, where study of nuclear fusion obviously has important implications for energy sources, but also...
Guys, did you hear my fart? I don't think so, right? Because there's audio playing. I farted.
Potentially for applications in space, and some of which might be related to national security. But, I do not see a threat that would be alarming at this time, and especially given that President Trump gave a directive to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to release any classified information about unidentified anomalous phenomena that might be of great interest, of course, in if those objects that were identified are non-human made. So I'm more looking forward to that release than anything else, and I don't think we should be alarmed at this point regarding the scientists that disappeared.
I do want to go back to what you just brought up about President Trump and all of that, but I want to talk to you about this first. When it comes to this kind of research and sensitive information or national security projects, would you say there are risks that are involved with that professionally or otherwise that maybe us here in the public that are not in these roles, maybe we don't understand?
Yeah, definitely, because adversarial nations might be interested in some of these secrets, and they could have operations either trying to get information about what these programs entail, and or perhaps even follow individuals. And so
so I did save, we're going to get to in a minute, Ben Swan actually discussed this. We're going to pull that up. I don't know. I haven't seen this guy or Ben Swan. I'm assuming Ben Swan. He was the guy that did, try to do a good faith reporting on the Italian food conspiracy. The Italian food, it comes in a circle. There's toppings on it like tomatoes and pepperoni and cheese. That conspiracy about that Italian food and the people selling it at restaurants where there were kids and stuff, that whole deal, he did an honest attempt at trying to report on that and really charitably put forward people's concerns with certain patterns that you could notice if you just open your eyes. So I'm intrigued. I'm assuming he is going to show us some connections and stuff, and do the same type of reporting for this topic as well. So let's take a look at that in a minute.
Definitely, it comes with the territory. If you sign up for a classified program, that you have to worry about being monitored, about the data being available to espionage in that regard, and that is a risk that everyone involved knows about. And also,
Ben Swan, Big Bird's cousin, Sheryl Crow's cousin.
of course, if you are a high-level government official, you face similar risks because you are exposed to information that many people around the world might want to know.
Avi, we only have 30 seconds, but I got to ask you this question. Is there a such
What's the meaning of life?
thing as aliens? Is there an alien life out there somewhere?
Oh my God. I wasn't that far off. That's pretty funny.
Oh, I think it's very likely because there are 100 billion stars like the sun, and most of them formed billions of years before the sun. There was plenty of time for those civilizations to develop, just like we did on Earth. And we just have the duty of searching for them. And perhaps the government has some data related to that. And I very much look forward to looking at this data if it comes public.
All right, Avi Loeb, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. I know you have another interview. Otherwise, I just keep talking to you for the rest.
Bet you would, bitch. But you got to go do some bench pressing. You're trying to out bench press me. Stormy's in here. What's up, Stormy? Welcome. I'm almost shirtless. We got the tank top today. It was chest day. I'll give you a couple of these. Blam, 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 blam. I'm trying to get big. Because this reporter right here, this black lady definitely benches more than me. And I'm really trying to, that hurts my ego. I'm trying to catch up. All right. Let's go back. Hello. I didn't mean to go back on that tab. They got me, guys. I'm exposing the secrets. They tried to get me. Did you see that? Oh my God. They tried to take down my stream because I'm exposing the truth. I definitely didn't just click the wrong button. It's the Jews, guys. It's the Jews. Okay, we're going to click back on this tab, not the stream tab. There we go. That's how it's done. Here, let me try to share screen on this tab without showing you guys all the booty pics I have saved. Okay, good. We're here. Go down here. There's no booty pics down here. Okay. I'm down here looking for the booty pics. Now I'm over here looking for them. Where are they? There's booty pics under my screen here. I'm just hiding them. Ah, they're everywhere. They're down here now. Okay. Let's check out the Ben Swan deal. And then maybe we'll come back to this because honestly, guys, I did want to actually take some time to touch on the Secrecy Act, the Invention Secrecy Act deal. And I want to make sure we got time for that. Is this yes, this is. Okay, let me get you guys. Okay, this isn't that long. We should have time to kind of get to everything. Hold on. Let me do this. Platow. Splatow. And boom goes the dynamite. Okay. There are now 9 missing scientists tied to advanced technology and U.S. nuclear space research. Their work overlaps closely with connections to NASA and Los Alamos and the Defense and Space Research Network. At the same time, reports are emerging about a potential breakthrough in plasma technology. Oh my God. Here we go, guys. Here we go. So I don't feel so crazy. A cover-up with technology that is coming out. I mean, okay, this is interesting. At the time, reports are emerging about potential breakthrough in plasma tech being covered up from the public eye. Monica Jacinto Reza, Melissa Cassius, we went through these names. Many of them were involved with the classified research and held contracts with the Department of Defense. Is this all a coincidence? Or is there something more sinister? Let's see.
And we begin tonight with a mystery that is barely being covered by most media, a wave of missing and dead NASA scientists.
Erwin Fletcher's up in here. What's up, bro? Welcome. Good to see you.
It's a story that is bizarre on so many levels. In fact, there are now at least 9 missing and dead scientists across the United States. Now, in a
Saul DePaul, lit hit, sir. Did I not say hi to you yet? What's up, lover? Welcome. Good to see you.
country of 350 million people. Why is that strange? Well, because all 9 of these scientists are elite researchers, many connected to NASA, nuclear programs, and advanced defense technology, and they have all either vanished or turned up dead. Now, at first glance, we'll be honest, these cases could seem unrelated, and maybe they are. They're taking place in different states, under different circumstances. Some have already been labeled accidents. But when you start to look closely at this, a pattern begins to emerge. See, these are not ordinary people. They're individuals working at the front lines of science, space exploration, nuclear systems, advanced materials, highly sensitive government-funded programs, fields where information isn't just important, it's strategic. And
okay, so guys, you know, this I can already feel Ben is probably gonna do us justice here. And the way he approaches some of these things, I do like, and this reminds me, Ben Swan is like the less juvenile version of like the Y-Files or something. You know, the Y-Files does a fairly good job of this too. They'll kind of lay out the whole story, the whole theory, or whatever he's covering. He'll kind of lay it all out and then go, through it sort of near the end, sort of fact checking and explaining how he thinks about it. And then it's like, it's kind of up to you and that's often how it is with a lot of these different theories. It's sort of like, if the person presenting the info to you is being honest, they will tell you, this is what we know. And it wouldn't be a theory if we could just tell you like it's a proven fact and we're just arguing over semantics or some bullshit. Normally it's like you kind of just got to make up your own mind or do some looking in different directions. Hecklefish is fire. Dude, Hecklefish is. In fact, I did save a clip from him. I forget his name, but the guy from the Y-Files, the host, not Hecklefish, but the human host, talking to Tucker Carlson. Yeah, Y-Files is fire. Let's go back to this. Hold on.
one by one, something is happening to them. Monica Reza, a materials scientist connected to NASA-backed projects. She vanished during a hike in California. She was experienced, she was prepared, but still, after months of searching, she has not turned up.
Hey, that just happens, guys. That happened to me too once, almost, in Casper, Wyoming. First day I was there, hiking on Casper Mountain, and I walked up that mountain, and I looked back down and I said, look how beautiful, and you could never get lost. You can see everything. And I hiked up a little bit more, and then I was like, where the fuck am I? I'm scared.
Then there's retired Air Force General William Neal McCaslin, a former commander overseeing billions in classified research programs. He disappears from his New Mexico home. No signs of forced entry, no struggle. He's just gone. And here's where it gets even more unsettling.
AJ, thank you, Maddie. AJ and Hecklefish. God damn it. Yes.
And McCaslin, they shared a professional connection linked to advanced materials research with aerospace and military applications. Maybe it's still a coincidence.
Dude, so this I kind of forgot to. I wanted to show again our graph here with the connections that someone made. I want to show this because, like the guy that was just being interviewed by that linebacker with a wig on Fox News that can bench more than me, the black lady. That guy, Avi Loeb, right? That was his name. So, I mean, I don't know if it's entirely fair to just say like there's no connection or whatever. No connection would just be a crazy person that had, what if you had like maybe 1 or 2 people on here that were scientists, and then one of them was a janitor. There was no, like, to say that you think these murders are connected or something, and then not be able to show a connection, that would be crazy. That would be weird. But this right here, I mean, again, and this is spread over a few years, of course, but it's recent. It's all been since like 2023 or something, right? Wasn't that the earliest one that we just read through all of them? So, I mean, if you say this is nothing, then it's just a matter of opinion, right? You can say, like, it's not enough of a connection to make me think that there's anything significant behind this, but it's not no connection. Right? This is that they are all connected. That's the point. You could say it's irrelevant or not strong enough evidence of something, but it's not no connection. Right, Maddie? Yeah, I mean that's what it seems like. No connections. It sounds like just propaganda. Like he's trying to push that idea. Okay, so sorry, I had you guys on this tab. I started playing the video. Let's go back to here. Okay, here we go.
With aerospace and military applications. Maybe it's still a coincidence. Maybe. But then there are the deaths. Astrophysicist Carl Grillmeyer shot and killed at his home. MIT fusion scientist Nuno Loureiro was also shot in what authorities called a targeted incident. NASA scientist Frank Maiwad, dead.
I'm glad he doesn't know how to say the names either. It doesn't make me feel so dumb.
And no publicly released cause. Jason Thomas, a pharmaceutical scientist who was found in a lake months after going missing. Investigators say in that case, no foul play is suspected. Okay? So what's happening? Well, we don't really know, but when you step back and you look at all these cases together, again, 9 of them in just the past few months, you have to ask, how many coincidences become too many coincidences? Right now, this is all happening at a very specific moment in time, clearly, a moment of rapid scientific and geopolitical change. The U.S. just returned to the moon, well, kinda. Space programs elsewhere are expanding, and global tensions, as you know, they're raising fears of nuclear disaster. We are living in such an environment that scientific expertise is often viewed through both civilian and national security lenses. And if we're honest, more often national security than anything else. So we have to ask the question here. Are these scientists working in defense-adjacent fields considered strategic assets? And did that status expose them to pressure, recruitment, even covert action? Again, there's no evidence supporting such claims as these.
No, so that's an interesting point there. You know, the only option that I mentioned on the table, and I didn't mean to say that is the only one. But like Ben is saying here, like I sort of, in keeping with the theme of the stream, with advancements in tech and that putting a bullseye on you possibly, and also the fact that we're covering the Invention Secrecy Act, I was tying those together and and thinking if something nefarious, something bad and conspiratorial happened to these scientists or something, that it was likely our own government because of the Secrecy Act and our government's, you know, sensitivity to technologies that may or may not cause some threat to national security. However, like Ben just said, if you notice there, I mean, it could have been some other government. I hate to specify what government it could possibly be. One that might be our ally or something. I mean, who knows? No, for real though. We don't. It could be. Who knows what fucking country? That could be some other country that tried to, you know, get these compromise these guys or get them to work for them or get some info from them. And if they denied them, then maybe, you know, they got some hitmen to take them out. Or I mean, who the hell knows?
Right. The discussion, though, sits within a long history of scientists being tied to national power. Information is power. And many of these researchers were working directly at the edge of what we know is possible. Officials maintain there is no proven connection to these cases, but the question still hangs in the air.
Guys, let me put my stuff back in the fridge real quick so it doesn't get bad. I'm sorry. I'm being a terrible host tonight. It's Scott Starboard's fault. I had to get on early to entertain you guys because he took the day off. How could Scott Starboard just do this to me? Put all this pressure on me like this. What the heck? Okay. What's up, lovers? How's it going? Didn't this host play in the NFL? Did he? I think you're right. I think you were right about that. Let's look it up. Was host Ben Swan with 2 N's in the NFL? Oh. Lynn Swan. They're saying the AI overview saying you're thinking of Lynn Swan. Why did that sound familiar? That he played football. It's a new Mandela effect. Why do we all remember Ben Swan playing in the NFL? This is like the Bernstein Bears. You implanted a memory in my head, just like I remember just like when the first time my friend mentioned to me, you remember Sinbad being in that one fucking movie as a genie? And I was like, Shazam, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I remember that movie. And he goes, yeah, that doesn't exist. What? Bullshit. Ben Swan, we know you played football. He's gaslighting us. Okay. Let's see, guys. Let's go ahead and it's Mandela effect. Was not in the NFL. Bullshit. It's a Ben Swan event. The Ben Swan effect. Invention, Secrecy, Acta. It's 51. I said 52 at the beginning of the stream. It's 51. Here, I'll go down here. Let's all take a look together. The Invention Secrecy Act. Here, let's go ahead and go to Wiki. Here we go, guys. Okay, and for the record, I'm going to play a piece from YouTube. So this was Dr. Stephen Greer. First time, guys. First time I ever heard about the Invention Secrecy Act was on the Joe Rogan Experience with Dr. Stephen Greer as the guest being interviewed. And I think... and again, I tried to use the what's it called? The thing with the transcript. Search through the transcript. I tried to do that, and I know he says it by name, and it wouldn't let me look it up. And so I don't. This, if you can tell by our numbers tonight, I don't think this is a great topic for the algos because. For whatever reason, I don't know. But, yeah, it was talked about. I did find that Dr. Stephen Greer episode got deleted. from Joe Rogan's, or I can't find it on Joe Rogan's page, but other people have re-uploaded it. So it is on YouTube. I found it, and I think I found a round where they talk about it, and I was, trying to prep for the stream and didn't get around to the actual part where it mentions it, but we're in a section where I found the section where they're discussing these same themes. I don't know if this act actually gets brought up, but just to give credit where credit's due, and some people don't really like Stephen Greer that much, but for whatever it's worth, he's the first motherfucker I ever heard talk about this. So that's that. Let me go down here. We'll read through some of this. Invention Secrecy Act of 1951, guys. Oh, enacted in 52. That's why I remembered that. Okay. Is a United States federal law that authorizes the government to suppress disclosure of certain inventions for reasons of national security. The statute empowers selected federal agencies to decide whether a patent application poses a risk and to compel its classification under secrecy orders. In practice, secrecy orders have been imposed not only on inventions affecting military defense, but also on those alleged to threaten economic stability, with critics noting that many such restrictions rest on speculative or unproven harms. So this is what we're talking about. It says law applies broadly to all inventions. So Wiki's at least putting this out here, some of the issues, the pushback on this speculative or unproven harms. So of course that gives the government a lot of bullshit, a lot of wiggle room. And it that seems to be the vibe from this, is that there are probably some inventions that they've taken under the umbrella, under the guise or excuse, motive that they're saying is to protect national security, but it's probably more like, they're protecting investments, you could say. Like, would it actually destroy the government, or it wouldn't hurt the government in the sense that the people would be hurt by this or something. It's like there are people in positions of power that have investments in other forms of propulsion and fuel, that this would and threaten economic stability. It mentions it here, so we'll get to that. But yeah, here, let's keep reading here. Poses a risk compelled under the classification, speculative harms, alleged threaten economic stability, with critics noting many such restrictions, speculative, unproven. Okay. Law applies broadly to all inventions in the United States for which a patent is filed or granted. So think about this, guys. Now, I don't know. We'll take a look at I have a list of some different names that we can look up. We got a couple clips to take a look at, but I want to check out these names ourselves and look at what the situations were for some of this and what their inventions were, and did they actually file patents and stuff? Because this is one thing, guys. Like, okay, Funny Faces up in here. What's up, bro? Welcome. Good to see you. If you are one of these inventors, like, I know the guy. There are at least some of these people that I think have kind of like open sourced it, right? Like they weren't like trying to be a billionaire. Like, they were actually showing people how to do it. And like, I don't know. I'm just imagining maybe some of these people that got taken out or just went missing. There could be some of them that went missing because they just cut a check. They got their fucking check for, $500 million and just fucking went and bought an island. Okay. There's probably some of these people that went missing, and they willfully went missing. They got their check and they made themselves go missing. Yeah, dude, I imagine, what if some of these people didn't actually file for a patent? Or maybe the government seized their patent, and so they said, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just release this to the. I filed the patent so that I could make money off of this and sell it, and and provide a good for the world. So it's capitalism, free market. I came up with some cool new invention, and I'm gonna sell it to people. It's gonna make their lives better. But if the government is just gonna stop me from making money off of it, I still want to make people's lives better. So I'll just, make a big fuss about it, tell the local press I've made a water car, and they'll come on down here. I'll tell them how it works and whatever. And then they just take them out because the patent, if you're actually a good person that wants to get the info out there, that you don't care that much that the patent isn't, it got, seized by the government to where you can't put it on the market or something without someone ripping it off. Let's keep reading for just a second here. Broadly all inventions, classified. Okay. Every patent application reviewed, thousands of inventions are manually screened each year. Any federal agency with classifying powers can order a restriction under the Act. Secrecy orders can bar public disclosure entirely, prohibit sales to anyone outside the defense sector, block exports, and seal restricted applications as classified. Damn. According to, imagine, imagine if somebody, I don't know, what if someone knew that the patent wouldn't get through and they were just like, I know that they do this, so I'm just going to release it. I don't know. This is scary. According to reporting in Wired and Slate, the United States Patent and Trademark Offices has at times considered applying secrecy orders to inventions deemed disruptive to established industries. Here we go. Like the oil or medical industry. Inventors whose work is restricted may petition for compensation, but scholars note that courts have often denied claims on the grounds that inventors cannot show actual damages while their inventions remain suppressed. That's wild. So you could invent some revolutionary thing that obviously the entire world would be just shitting their pants to get one of these things, and they just go, well, you can't prove that every single fucking person would want to buy this revolutionary thing that would destroy the whole fucking oil market. Critics, including attorneys and academics, describe the system as lacking oversight and limiting avenues of appeal. Commentators have likened secrecy orders to uncompensated takings under the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution. Uncompensated takings under the Fifth Amendment. That wouldn't be the Fourth? Am I crazy, guys? Am I a complete crackhead? That doesn't sound more like a Fourth Amendment violation. Right against unlawful search and seizure, right? That's number 4, right? Am I crazy? Fifth Amendment is the right to remain silent. Okay, whatever. We could look more into that later if we have time. Legal scholars argue that the regime is inherently unfair because inventors are automatically denied a quarter of their patent's assessed value while being unable to prove harm. Historians note the officials manage secrecy orders to avoid judicial precedence on the act's constitutionality. Other critics contend, I guess the secrecy, they're saying officials manage secrecy orders to avoid judicial precedence on the act's constitutionality. So they have some kind of secrecy order slapped on your patent, and that stops you from taking them to court about any constitutional violation, whether it's the Fifth or the Fourth, whatever. Maddie just laughing at me because of what? I don't know I don't know all the amendments, okay? What is this? Ice cream? I want some ice cream. Where were we? Okay. Other critics contend that the secrecy orders chill research, stall economic development, and entrench the military industrial complex by sidelining independent inventors and dual use technologies. Statutory rationale is that secrecy orders are needed when disclosure might be detrimental to the national security. Most scholarly commentary has been critical of the regime. Though one law review article has argued limited secrecy may be justified in biotechnology patents, of course. World War II back. Oh, okay. Okay. Classified development of nuclear weapons. Okay, so they're talking about the past laws, national defense, talking about developing nukes. Other countries might be able to get aid the enemy, endanger public safety. Okay. Trademark office, da da da. Army, Navy Patent Advisory Board. Made the patent secrecy permanent. Okay. Let's take a look. I might read through more of this. This is pretty long. Let's take a look at some clips. We might get back to this. It's almost it's 8:45. Okay. No, Kenny made a joke. No, okay. Well, I don't care if you're laughing at me. I saw it pop up right after I started asking about which amendment that was actually violating. I guess the fifth. There's probably some facets of the fifth that I don't understand. Okay, so where did I have? Hold on one second. We'll go to. Let's try this. Let me see if I can find this. I took a screenshot of the. Oh no, that's not it. That's a booty pic. Let me see, guys. Let me see. Here we go. Let me get you guys over to this tab. I believe. Where is it? 120. Okay. Plot out. Give me a good ad. Give me a scrub daddy. Damn it.
Jeff, car's ready.
Ready already?
Already ready.
What's I got to do to get a nice scrub daddy ad to get me chubbed up?
A Goldman Sachs guy.
This is they're playing the trailer for his movie.
That little thing freaked me out.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't mean to sound callous, but being a doctor, I've seen so many worse things. But it's actually fascinating.
That's fascinating. I mean, it freaked me out. Not that it's a dead body. I've seen dead things. It freaked me out that might be a life form. By the way,
it was a life form. We know for a fact it was a life form. What it was is what we're investigating. And I think that one of our witnesses who was on a retrieval team of retrieving extraterrestrial bodies from craft that we had targeted. Has talked about the fact that there are many different species that have been cataloged over the years. And at one point, I think it was in the late 60s, there were like 68 or 69 or something in that range. If you look at space and look at the stars, probably every stable star system has planets around it they're discovering. And there's the likelihood that there's an enormous diversity of life out there is a statistical certainty. Even the conventional astronomers and the Drake formula will support that. the question is, have they gotten here? Well, most probably wouldn't be able to, just like we weren't for thousands and thousands of years. But there's such hubris to think that, we're at the pinnacle of technology on Earth in 2013. We're not. I think that when you begin to look at the progression of technology, once you reach a breakout point, as we have in the last century here, in fact, most of the big breakthroughs in technologies, no one knows about. They exist, but they're in a classified project. And that's, I think, as big or a bigger story than the ET story, is the fact that there is a cabal of, as I said, sociopathic, misanthropic folks who have decided their macroeconomic grip on power needs to be maintained through this sort of ruthless secrecy, and where they keep from the public disinformation, not because they think people are going to hurl themselves off the Brooklyn Bridge because we're not alone in the universe, but because when this comes out and this information comes out, it means that the sciences already exist so that we can get off oil and gas and coal. And you know what? A Goldman Sachs guy said that's a $600 trillion nut you're cracking right there. Trillion. And because if you look at all the oil in the ground, the coal in the ground, the commodities trading, the petrodollar system, the utilities, the internal combustion engines, all of that is defunct, extinct stuff, or should be. And so here we are cannibalizing this planet for no good reason, except that there's a handful of folks. And you look at the sort of centralization of wealth and power there is in the world now. It's the most extreme it's ever been in human history right now, right this minute, this instant. So, there's 200 to 300 individuals and corporations that have over half the net worth of the world.
You know the guy in the beginning of your video that says that you're a genius? David Wilcock. Do you know who that guy is?
Oh, yes, I know who he is.
Yeah. Do you know that he also thinks that he's Edgar Casey reincarnated? And shows you pictures of
I have
Edgar
no
Casey,
idea. That's news to me.
Edgar Casey's friends and how his friends look like Edgar Casey's friends. And
really?
Have you ever watched any of that guy's lectures?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, some the team interviewed him, but I don't know.
So what, Joe? You've said crazier shit.
Do a little editing. Might want to do a little editing with that one. Not saying that anything else in your documentary is bullshit, but that guy makes my radar detector go off. The evidence that this technology has been suppressed, is there evidence that like this free energy technology has
here we go, guys. We might be getting into it here. They might be getting into it here.
And
yes, there's a huge amount of evidence. And
do you reveal this in this documentary?
Yes, there's a whole document trail. And one of the things we got some years ago was a demand from the Department of Defense to the FBI that they turn over the secret papers of Nikola Tesla that were stolen. And we have this document. And, what happened to them and what were they trying to hide? The Federation of American Scientists, a very big mainstream organization in Washington, that has a national security research project associated with the Federation of American Scientists, came out about 2 years ago with a report that there were 5,135 patents that have been seized under the National Security Act, and that some of these things were energy related. One of them in 1971.
So he said the National Security Act. Let's look that up on a different tabs. I guess that's maybe something different. Reorganize it. He actually might have gotten them mixed up. Or maybe he is maybe this ties in somehow. Because AI overview is going signed in by Truman in 1947. Sorry, National Security Act of 47 recognized U.S. military intelligence agencies following World War II. It established the National Security Council, reorganizing U.S. military intelligence agencies. So yeah, that's it.
Was only a solar photovoltaic generator. We're from sunlight to electricity.
Hold on. He's mentioning a certain invention. Let's back it up. We're at 28. Okay.
And what were they trying to hide? The Federation of American Scientists, a very big mainstream organization in Washington that has a national security research project associated with the Federation of American Scientists, came out about 2 years ago with a report that there were 5,135 patents that have been seized under the National Security Act, and that some of these things were energy related. One of them, in 1971, was only a solar photovoltaic generator. We're from sunlight to electricity, photovoltaic, that was more than 20% efficient. Now, you can't even get that now, but meaning that it was probably like 40, 50% turning sunlight directly into electricity. And it had a national security order slapped on it. And this mainstream scientific group says, how could that be a threat to national security? It would have been a threat to the domination of oil and coal and the petrodollar system. So, this is not a conspiracy theory. There are entities that have conspired. And you look at the wealth and power behind these entities. I mean, people have been killed for a lot less than this.
It really is. That is such a loaded word, that conspiracy. It's unfortunate that it's necessary to use because it's been so co-opted.
Well, I think it's really more about special interests and cartels always acting in their interest. And if you've got the power, you're going to use it. And you know what? Here's the problem. If the people allow it to happen, and I was just reading an article in the New Republic about this, that if you, whether you're, letting Saddam Hussein or the Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi or whatever it is, or you have to give them that power. We give the power to the government ultimately by our passivity. And so ultimately, I'm not one of these people who runs around saying, oh, well, there are these boogeymen that are doing everything and we're just hapless creatures. If we're allowing it, if we're not part of the solution, we're part of the problem. If we're allowing it by our inaction and passivity, because we want to be bread and circus people sitting around eating, Cheetos and watching Jay Leno, which is fine. But if that's all we're doing and we're not trying to fix this problem, then, obviously the passivity of the public and our politicians who don't want to risk their career or danger in that power vacuum, you're going to have these sort of people step. And I think there's a power vacuum that existed for a little while after World War II that gave an entry to these folks. And I think that it will continue for as long as we let them do it.
I think it's pretty obvious when you look at the fact that this is the age of information, where information is being distributed more freely and more easily than ever before. But yet this is also the age where the government is continuing to attack the Bill of Rights, continuing to slowly but surely restrict our rights and civil liberties, and make it so that if they deem you a threat to the nation in any way, shape, or form, they can essentially detain you. They don't have to do anything.
Okay, let's get over to here is on PBD. I'm interested to see him break this down. I do remember when PBD first stumbled onto this. And you know what I think it is, guys? If you go back and look at the first time PBD ever talked about the Invention Secrecy Act, and then you go back and look at the first time, and I think the only time, the Y-Files did an episode on the Invention Secrecy Act. The Y-Files did the episode, and then PBD started talking about it within a week. So I'm pretty sure some of these guys, the producers for PBD, that one guy, Rob, what's his name? He used to work for the Bubba Show. Kenny, do you remember any Johnny Z, any of the Bubba Army people in here? What was his name? Rob something. Gargiulo? Is it Rob Gargiulo or something? Gargiulo. Okay. Wow, I actually remembered that. I'm friends with him on Facebook. But yeah, I bet you that he watches the Y-Files. I bet he does, and he stumbled onto that about this info about the Invention Secrecy Act, and PBD, he brought it up to him, and PBD shit his pants because he never heard about it, so they had to talk about it on his show. Good move, by the way, too, because that, I mean, really, that it was starting to trend because Y-Files had already been getting some traction. Let me get you guys over to this tab. Hold on a second. Okay. Here we go.
Like dollar-wise, is it $500 billion, $1 trillion, $2 trillion? What if I told you it's $5 trillion? And what if I told you these people that are in that industry found out about
the oil industry?
About a guy named Stanley Meyer many years ago who built a car that ran on water, and in an interview, he believes it can go coast to coast on 22 gallons of water. And then all of a sudden, according to this documentary, during dinner, he's saying he's getting poisoned and he drops and he dies. And there's a bunch of other guys that had these types of technology, but they didn't want it to come out. And then you're getting reports from Bloomberg coming out saying the fact that Green Energy Research Team estimates a new report this week that it could cost $196 trillion in investments to reach zero out of the world's carbon emissions by 2050. McKinsey says 275. Another Swiss reorganization says 23 trillion.
Guys, let me grab my toothpicks from over here. Hold on 1 second. Oh my God. I'm back. Here we go.
In a year, a bunch of these guys are saying $200 to $300 trillion for us to go to net zero. But what if we already have that technology, but just some people don't want the public to know about it because they want you to keep going to the gas station? Because God forbid, if we solve that problem, that may get rid of a $5 trillion industry. Is that a fair question to ask? I don't know. But we're going down the rabbit hole again.
I'm telling you guys, he stole this topic. He stole this topic from the Y-Files. Bubba admitted to doing it too? Doing what? Guys, I'm feeling a chill right now going up my spine. What is it? Oh, God, guys, I'm feeling a chill. Oh, Icy Bird's in the chat. What's up, Icy? I felt the chill. I swear to God, I felt the chill. What do we talk? What happened? What did Bubs admit to? Shop vac injury? Is that what we're talking about? Dude, yeah, Bubba used to do that. I once had to respond to a call about a terrible shop vac injury. Dude put his junk in it. True story. Was the patient's name Bubba Clem? Was the caller's name Bubba the Love Sponge Clem by chance? No, Bubba invented a water car. But Bubba did both, is what you mean. Yeah, Bubba put a shop vac on his junk. He did. He truly, truly did. There's a whole song about it and everything. I didn't do it. It wasn't my parody, but it's a brilliant parody by the guy that, his name was Manson, the guy that used to do the songs for Bubba's show. Oh, that one went in. Manson, who used to do Bubba's parody songs, he did a parody of, what is it? Aerosmith, Lovin' an Elevator, that song, but he made it Lovin' a Vacuum Cleaner. It was like, lovin' a vacuum cleaner, da 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 da, lovin' a vacuum cleaner, da 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 da. I don't remember the lyrics. Bubba didn't play it often because he was ashamed of it, but yeah, it was a good one. It's a really good parody idea. Where were we? Here?
Okay, so if you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. But you may be watching the same pattern. Why should I care about this? Honestly, I got so many other things to care about.
Because Y-Files talked about it.
Here's why. In 2021, the U.S. spent $1.3 trillion on energy, 5.7% of our gross domestic product, GDP. On a per capita basis, the annual energy cost was $3,967 per person. You. The average American household pays $6,888 in utility bills per year, and Americans spend roughly 3.2% of their budget on gas every year, give or take $2,100. And by the way, this is happening while the average salary in America, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics, is roughly a little over $59,000. So that's a lot of money for somebody making $59K a year. So now, remember earlier I told you that Bloomberg said $196 trillion, how much we're going to be spending
mining by 2050. The question may be how? What does that look like? This is what it looks like if you break it down. And by the way, from 22 to 23 to 24 to 25, 26, the biggest jump in annual investment required is this decade. They want to raise investment into this.
Guys, I'm a broke ass bitch. They're saying the average person makes $59,000 a year. I am a broke ass bitch. God damn. I didn't even know how broke I was. Well, I'm not that broke, but I don't have a high paying job. Guys, I had to file my taxes. I had to do a 1099 deal because I'm not like a real employee. I do basically it's contract work. I'm like my own business or whatever, technically. I had to file and I'm having to pay, I'll just say over $1,000. I'm not happy about it. I mean, we got it down. I was able to do like a fair amount of like real deductions, but like, oh, Jesus Christ, it sucks. I should have actually consciously put more money aside throughout the year, like I was told I probably should. I mean, I'm going to be okay, but whatever. Yeah, it sucks. It hurts because I was like, no way it's going to be that much. No way. And it was that much. It was that much, guys. Oh, Lord.
Decade, you and I have to pay for it, and that increase will be the blue is electric vehicles, green is low carbon power, grid, hydrogen, carbon capture and storage, heat pumps, sustainable materials, fossil fuel processes, and fossil fuel power. President Biden said himself, the global temperature rising more than 1.5 degrees Celsius in the next 2 decades is scarier than nuclear war. AOC said the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change, and your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And Al Gore, famous Al Gore, he became famous like this. If we don't take action, there could be as many as 1 billion climate refugees crossing international borders in the next several decades. Sounds scary when you read this. Is this fear porn? Or are they really concerned about you and I? Who knows? Well, let's take a look. So you may be watching this. Is there a political message here? Are you defending Republicans and not Democrats? Are you defending who are you defending in this message? Listen, Republicans are trying to protect oil and gas. Democrats are all about climate change. Both of them are getting money from these guys. They don't want those guys to stop making money because then they're not going to give money. And what if there is a solution to actually get rid of this $4 trillion investment every year and not have to say we need to spend $196 trillion? Where does that money come from? You and I. That's where they get the money from. I don't have $196 trillion, but they're going to get it from us over the next 30 years. That's what they're trying to do collectively, not just you. It's not about taxing the rich. The rich can't afford to pay $196 trillion. We don't even have a trillionaire right now. Think about 196 of them to be out there, right? If they tax them at 100%, you're coming after you. They need your money as well. They'll tax you through other places. So what is the solution here? Because when you're dealing with a problem like this, people out there and say, man, I'm stubborn people like this guy. I just want you to watch this guy's interview, by the way, and see what he says. This is an old video, probably from the 80s, if not the 90s. This is Stanley Meyer. Look at his determination saying, I'm sick of this shit in his own words. Watch this.
I don't care if you use rainwater, well water, city water, ocean water. If you don't have any fresh water, go ahead and use snow. If you don't have any snow available to you, then use salt water because there's no adverse effect to the fuel cell.
Myers started working on this project 4 years ago. He's not a scientist. He isn't even a chemist. In fact, he never graduated from college. Myers was determined, he says, to design something to protect this country from oil embargoes.
And we've calculated that if we take the dune buggy from Los Angeles to New York, we would roughly use 22 gallons of water.
So do you hear his voice, like how much fire he's got? This is not...
Dude, what he said 22 gallons? 22 gallons. That's it. 22 gallons. You stop at the gas station, just buy a gallon of water. That is wild. Hold on. He said 22, not 222. He said 22. Right. Hold on. Where are we at?
Take the dune buggy from Los Angeles to New York, we would roughly use 22 gallons of water.
So 22 gallons of water.
Do you hear his voice, like how much fire he's got? This is not, do you understand it? Like true believers are going to be like, I'm going to fix this problem, right? This is not cool what they're doing. Now watch it, Stanley Meyer. He builds this engine that uses a process called electrolysis to split water into oxygen, hydrogen gas, powering the vehicle. So obviously imagine you're the oil and gas industry. Like, who is this guy? Why are they giving him TV time? Get him off. And this is not social media time. He gets all this publicity and attention. And in 1998, during a celebration with Belgian investors about to close a multi-million-dollar deal, Meyer became violently ill and claimed he was poisoned before dying. Official report stated he died of a brain aneurysm. Now, by the way, this is being said in a documentary filled with many interviews called The Lost Century on Amazon. If somebody says, come on now, this is a such and such, why is Jeff Bezos allowing this to be on?
It's The Lost Century.
Documentary filled with many interviews called The...
You know what? I'm gonna try to watch that. Let me make a note here.
last century on Amazon. If somebody says, come on now, this is a such and such, why is Jeff Bezos allowing this to be on his Amazon? Well, why are they letting that happen? But watch this. That wasn't only invention he had. He had another device that ran on nothing. Yes, you know how much money you can make off of nothing? You can't say, I'll sell you nothing for $5 a gallon. What do you mean? There's no profit margin on nothing, right? He built a device that broke the second law of thermodynamics. Do you and I even know what that means? Broke the second law of thermodynamics. Whatever it is.
I know you don't.
He was able to figure it out to run on nothing. You can't monetize when you run on nothing, right? Stanley Meyer had a donut-shaped electromagnetic device in his garage, slapped with a national security order due to its groundbreaking nature. Paranoid from past experiences of having patent seized, Meyer deliberately falsified the voltage and frequency numbers in his patent to prevent theft or classification. Skeptics argue that Meyer's technology violated thermodynamics law, specifically the second law of thermodynamics, energy transfer inefficiencies, because Meyer's...
Oh my God, guys. Okay. Maddie's saying bullshit. No, he didn't. And you know what? You're probably right about that. And there have been plenty of people, there are schizo people on Instagram who claim they have done this. It is most likely that it's BS, but he built his water car. No, but this is what I was talking about. And I didn't pre-watch this. I think I did watch this video years ago, whenever this came out, like what, 3 years ago. Let me see. Hold on a second. What? Or 6 minutes 33. 2024. Yeah, I guess that 2-3 years. Yeah, that makes sense. Hold on. Let's see. Let's go to YouTube and look for Y-Files and see when their episode came out. Y-Files. So I don't know that you could. Okay. I know I saw the Y-Files deal first, but when you go to YouTube, it's funny. It says 1 year killer patent, secret, free energy, anti-gravity cover-ups. On the Y-Files video, it says 1 year ago. Okay. But when you scroll down, Valuetainment has their short up here on YouTube, and that says 1 year ago. So I think it's just calculating 1 year, because it's saying 1 year. Wait, hold on a sec. When did this say? Well, May. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know why it's saying 1 year. Anyway, whatever. Where were we? Here? Okay.
Engine created energy without waste. Now watch this. I'm gonna read this. It's gonna sound.
Oh, but this is what I was saying. I mentioned this earlier. The reason I was saying, I didn't pre-watch this. I maybe watched this way back when it first came out. But what I was going to say is that's interesting, because that's what I was thinking. What if one of these guys knew? I said this earlier. What if they knew that if you try to patent something that's like groundbreaking enough, then they'll just seize it. And so you don't actually patent the groundbreaking thing, and you just try to release or sell the technology on your own. And so they have to like take you out, because they don't have like a legal means because you didn't patent it or something. I don't know. Maybe they could either way just slap a, whatever, a secrecy order on your invention, and get some court to actually uphold some deal that if you put this information out there, some kind of gag order type of thing, that you'll be legally liable and face prison time. I don't know.
Very weird, but hang tight. And then I'm going to validate it with a quote that was given by Tesla back in the days. Zero energy devices are said not to create energy, but to channel existing, keyword, omnipresent energy. Challenging conventional views on energy conservation is what we're talking about with Stanley. And you know what Nikola Tesla said? If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. What the hell happened to the Stanley guy? Was he up to something big? And why did he disappear all of a sudden? It's a good question to ask. So now that's 1990. How far back can we go where somebody thought of this? In 1898, this man named Stubblefield was issued the U.S. patent of 600,457 for something called the Earth battery. Earth battery. What is an earth battery? It's an electronic coil of iron, insulated copper wire that was immersed in liquid or buried in the ground. Stubblefield claimed that combined with normal battery operation, his device also drew additional power from the earth. However, it did successfully serve as both a power source and a ground terminal for wireless telephone. This is getting crazier and crazier, right? Like you may be watching this right now saying, I'm going to come up with this idea. There's no money in this idea. You get what I'm saying? Like there is no money. It's just you're solving a massive problem. You're going to create so many enemies. The oil and gas industry employs millions of people. This isn't just about the people that are making the money, but watch this one here. Nikola Tesla's Pierce Aero electric car from 1921 running on pure etheric electricity. What does that mean? This is a self-recharging car. It does not run on batteries, oil, and gas. Again, recharging. How do you keep making money if somebody sells a battery that's recharging? You shave and you use your razor. It gets bad. Boom. You go to whatever store, you buy another one. Okay. You put batteries.
Dude, you know, like the batteries is a whole fucking gimmick in itself as well. That's a whole fucking industry too. And it requires fucking people in countries you've never heard of for the women to walk around with their babies on their back, mining for fucking cobalt and crazy shit and they're getting poisoned by doing so that we have fucking batteries.
Something you change, you go back, right? You're constantly having to go back to buy it. There is more money being made. If it's self-recharging car, what do I need to go buy? Because it's already recharging itself. There's no profit in it. And by the way, what's wild is many of these stories were also in the paper. Here's one from August 28th, 1921 in the Phoenix paper, electricity.
Dude, so it's so funny. Like I said, guys, when you watch PBD stuff, and granted, he's gotten better. He has gotten better. He seems a little bit more like, worldly, I guess. But anytime you watch PBD, it's almost useless unless you're trying to get the business angle on the topic, right? That like he's very limited. Each time any one of these little facts that he's talking about comes up, this is like stuff that he's never heard of or considered or anything. Like his producer Rob probably got him all this stuff. And was like, yeah, you got to talk about this fucking, but yeah, he's got like nothing to add to it at all, except like, could we make money off of free stuff?
Taken from air drives automobile. Taken from air drives automobile. And by the way, I got a bunch of these stories, but I want to tell you with Tesla. Let's go through what happened with Tesla. So check this out. In 1900, Nikola Tesla convinced JP Morgan to fund a global wireless communication system, later expanding the project to include wireless power transmission after demonstrating the technology. So now JP Morgan's like, well, a great idea. What could this turn into? Then on July 10th, 1932, this is 32 years later, Tesla announced the development of a principle to harness cosmic rays for power generation. He described a process where cosmic rays ionize the air. Again, going back to the Phoenix guy talking about air. This is in 1921. This is in 1932. So cosmic ray ionizes the air, releasing energy that can be captured and used to operate a motor. The system could provide continuous power without the need for storing energy, unlike other renewable sources such as wind or solar, which we have a lot of solar right now that we need to replace every 30 years. But this is saying no wind, no solar. So now watch this. I'm about to read this next part to you, but in 1900, he convinces JP Morgan, right? 1932, he announces the development of this cosmic harness ray for power generation. Watch this. The new energy source, described as everywhere present in unlimited quantities, could potentially, ready for the powerful word that scared the crap out of everybody, eliminate the need for conventional fuel, such as what? Coal, oil, or gas. Boom. The moment he said this, it scared the hell out of everybody. So now Tesla requested more funding for this expansion, but now JP Morgan withdrew support, citing a breach of contract possibly influenced by his investment in industries threatened by Tesla innovations, GE, AT&T, copper mines. Of course, he's going to sit there and protect his investments, saying, hey, what you're doing, you're going to put my guys out of business. I'm not interested. Allegedly, that's what happened here. Did I just use the word allegedly? I think I did, right? If I use the word allegedly, by the way, we have a new shirt that came out called Allegedly. Value Team, the future looks right. If you have
Jesus Christ, pumping merch. Yeah, so JP Morgan was interested until he realized it would destroy other industries he had invested in. Interesting.
Order to you. Click on the link below. Go order your allegedly shirt. Let's get back to the episode. So now watch this. Not only did JP Morgan Chase say, no, we're not going to give you more funding, but what they also did is discourage other investors, isolating Tesla financially. So this led to Tesla having significant debt, which eventually led to the foreclosure and eventual demolition of the Wardenclyffe Tower, which is where he was doing all his testing. Obviously, his vision of free, unlimited energy had a lot of enemies, such as Morgans, Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, who controlled American energy production and distribution. That's a problem. And by the way, according to this documentary, The Lost Century, ready for this? Kind of weird here. Watch this. Upon his death, many of his documents disappeared, and only 60 of his 80 organized boxes were recovered. FBI documents show that the Department of Defense ordered Tesla's belongings to be turned over to them after his death.
I was just going to say that already got brought up earlier in was one of the other clips we were watching.
Kind of weird. I'm going to go through the rest of these guys very quick. This is a guy named Charles Pogg in the 30s. He figured out a way to create a machine. Ready for this? Breen Motor Company tested a carburetor on a Ford V8 coupe in 1936, achieving 26.2 miles on 1 pint of gasoline. Approximately, it would have been 220 miles per gallon. 220 miles.
What if all the UFOs that they have in S4 over there that Bob Lazar was working on, what if all of those were from Tesla's house? He just had them over there. He made all of them.
By the way, we're talking in 1936 with Ford. Ford knew about this, and even after Ford and Canadian Automotive Magazine reported around 218 miles per gallon, excitement from the test resulted to a drop in oil company stock prices on the Toronto Exchange. But following the media buzz, Pogg's workshop was burglarized, and all related materials were stolen. Eventually,
dude, I don't know. So, Maddie, that's a fair point. But what's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson brought this up when Joe Rogan was discussing Tesla tech with him. He was on the podcast on Joe Rogan Experience, and Joe brought up the Tesla tech stuff to Tyson, and he sort of mentioned the same thing. I don't know though. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm really not. I'm not. That's not something I know anything about to be able to even comment on at all. I just imagine if Tesla, it's a ridiculous idea, is it? We're getting poisoned by our phones and the light in them, yeah. Erwin saying different wavelength. Yeah, so that's what I'm really completely ignorant here on this shit. This is something I should know more about, being that I come from some of the weirder circles on the internet. But yeah, I mean, if they're talking about so what are they? Hold on, what are we talking about? Wireless transmission of what for phones and power, or is that what we're talking about? I'm sorry, I got distracted. DMS, play Micro Machines commercial stat. Promise you, it's all I hear when you play these sped up videos. Really? Guys, I like a good 10x speed video. Let's find it. Micro Machines. Let's humor ourselves here. Oh, it's like sped up. Micro Machines fast talker. I'm assuming this is what you're talking about. Hold on. Let's get you guys over here for just a moment. Slight detour, ladies and gentlemen. I like this. This is funny. We're in a commercial vortex right now. I clicked on this video it's an ad from what the fuck year? I don't even know. And then I have to watch a current ad in order to watch the ad from 19 whatever the fuck. I mean, come on, can't we, like, if I'm clicking on a video that is an ad from the past, can't we just count that as me watching an ad? You got to put an ad on the ad.
Peacock invites you to get ready.
Oh. This is the Micro Machine Man presenting the most miniature motorcade of Micro Machines. Each one has dramatic details, terrific trim, precision paint jobs, plus incredible Micro Machine pocket playsets. There's a police station, fire station, restaurant, service station, and more. Perfect pocket portables to take any place. And there are many miniature playsets to play with, and each one comes with its own special edition Micro Machine vehicle and fun, fantastic features that miraculous.
Okay, I get it. Really? Is that all you think of? Is this a distraction when I place that? I'm not even playing it in 2x speed. I'm playing it 1.5.
Move. Raise the boat lift at the airport marina. Man the gun turret at the army base. Clean your car at the car wash. Raise the toll bridge. And these playsets fit together to form a Micro Machine world. Micro Machine pocket playsets so tremendously tiny, so perfectly precise, so dazzlingly detailed, you'll want to pocket them all. Micro Machines and Micro Machine pocket playsets sold separately from Galoob. The smaller they are, the better they are.
That's like Destiny. That's like Destiny talking. Where the hell were we? Oh, we're over here. Here we go. I'll get you back over here. Get over here, guys. What are you doing over on that tab? Get over here.
He sees further development in the discussion of carburetor, later taking a high-paying managerial position where? At an oil company. Next guy, Thomas Morey, 1940.
Now it's all I can hear. It's incredibly distracting. Why would you ever tell me? Why would you ever tell me about the fucking Micro Machines commercial, bro?
This guy invented a device capable of generating 50 kilowatts with no energy input, tapping into the zero-point field. Based on what he did here, Russians tried to kidnap him. After public demonstrations in 1940, his lab was attacked. He faced multiple assassination attempts, and ultimately, his assistant sabotaged his work. Morey died impoverished with his groundbreaking technology lost to...
You know what it does is it makes me want to see him like enact all these things he's describing. It makes me want to see him enact it with a little play set of Micro Machine toys. Like when he describes Morey died impoverished with his groundbreaking technology lost. I wish he would say it fast with like the little toys, like watch with the little toy of a guy, Lego guy, just laying in his bed dying in like a Lego set hospital bed or something.
Secrecy and sabotage. This next one's going to be a little bit weird. You may even pause the video to want to Google this to say this can't be right. In 1951, the U.S. enacted the Invention Secrecy Act. What is that? Allows the government to legally classify and keep certain inventions secret if deemed a threat to national economy or security. What could be a threat to national economy? If you're able to figure something out that's 220 miles per gallon, you think it affects the oil industry a little bit? Maybe. Inventions under a secrecy order cannot be discussed, exported, or sold outside of military channels. Violations of secrecy order can result in imprisonment for the inventor. Over 6,000 patents today are kept by the U.S. government in secret. They didn't allow the people to go out there and sell it. I wonder what those 6,000 patents are. A lot of people want to be like, when you become a president, I want to go to Area 51. A lot of us capitalists want to find out what these 6,000 patents are. If you want to go a little bit deeper, let me give it to you. In 1971, the list indicated that patents for solar photovoltaic generators were subject to review and possible restrictions if they were more than 20% efficient, meaning energy conversion systems were likewise subject to review and possible restriction if they offered conversion efficiencies in excess of 70 to 80%. What does that really mean? That means if we can save your electricity by over 70 to 80%, pump the brakes. 20%, we're okay with that. 70, 80, a little too much. We can't save people that much money because if we do that, a couple other industries may be out of business. That's exactly what it means. I'll do a couple of these and we'll wrap up because I got a lot of stories for you. Just go watch a documentary. So Tom Ogle in the 1970s, Tom Ogle accidentally created an engine that ran on its own fumes using a modified lawnmower. What? In April 1977, he drove the car 205 miles on just 2 gallons of gas. Engineers found no hidden fuel reserves in the car, confirming the technology's effectiveness. Ogle's invention attracted significant attention, including a $25 million buyout. You know from who? Ready for this? From Shell Oil Company, which he declined to prevent the technology from being suppressed. How weird is that? Despite securing a patent...
25 million. Think about that, guys. That is so laughable. That is so funny. You should turn that down. I mean, unless you're actually like, I feel like if I turn this down, or like if I ask for a number that they just deem completely insane, then they're gonna Charlie Kirk me. Then you might want to take it if that's really something you're considering, a factor that you're keeping in play. But dude, what are the 25 million? Dude, that is hilarious. To stop, you're going to pay me a few tens of millions of dollars to stop me from sinking your entire industry? Of course you should go F yourself. Of course. Are you kidding me? I mean, make it a few hundred millions. We can like talk about it. You can we'll have a discussion and it'll still probably be no if I'm like a decent human being that doesn't want this info suppressed and that's not worried about getting Charlie Kirked.
investor support. Ogle faced legal troubles from the SEC and the IRS and personal challenges, including his wife leaving him. Ogle was shot in 1978 but survived. However, later he died under suspicious circumstances involving painkillers and alcohol, which was ruled an accidental overdose. His death was speculated by some to be a cover-up, and his revolutionary invention was largely forgotten. This next one, I like his name a lot. I had a friend named Little Sparky, but here we go. Floyd Sweet, Sparky, 1980s. Sparky developed a machine capable of converting 0.3 milliwatts into 224,000 watts of continuous on-demand power without limitations on attached equipment. He filed a patent for his invention soon after a well-dressed man approached Sparky at a grocery store, showing him a photograph taken secretly of him and his wife at home, threatening him to seize his research. Now imagine you're at a market, you're at a gas station, guy comes and shows you this grocery store. What are you going to be doing? Wait a minute, who are you guys? Can't tell you. Here's you and your wife. What? Yes, you got to stop what you're doing with this Manette app. It's revolutionizing the industry. Cannot do that. This is freaking people out just because of a QR code. I can download the app and I can ask other people questions and I can get my question answered now. We can't do that. We can't get people getting answers to the questions now. You can do it, by the way, if you download the app on the Manette QR code right here. Let me get back to the story here with
Jesus Christ.
So he walked me, he tells Floyd Sweet Sparky, all the way to my building, telling me what would happen to me if I didn't stop my research. Despite reporting the incident to the FBI, harassment intensified. Sparky and his wife received numerous threatening calls. Sparky was getting telephone calls and death threats from strangers. He said there were people calling at all hours. The police put a tap on my line, and over a 6-month period, over 480 calls came in from all parts of the U.S., but they were from pay stations. Thus, the police could never find the callers. His lab was eventually burglarized, resulting in theft of his notes. Later, 2 men visited Sparky's home. Shortly after they left, Sparky collapsed and subsequently died from a perpetrated heart attack after being taken away in an ambulance, which his wife was not allowed to enter. Within 20.
He can't even read. It's purported heart attack. Didn't he say perpetrated? Hold on a second. He said perpetrated, didn't he?
He died from a perpetrated heart attack.
Perpetrated heart attack. God damn, I clicked just the right spot. Guys, I am so locked in. Purported heart attack. This guy's anyway.
After being taken away in an ambulance, which his wife was not allowed to enter. Within 24 hours of his death, the FBI seized all of Sparky's equipment and research. Besides its power generation, Sparky's device, known as the VT, also demonstrated anti-gravity capabilities during experiments with retired Army officers and nuclear physicist Tom Bearden, who observed a 90% reduction in the VTA weight, supporting Bearden's theory of gravity as a pushing force. So final thoughts right now, if you're watching this as a capitalist entrepreneur, somebody who respects a lot of business owners out there. We run a consulting firm called David Consulting. You can go to david.com to learn. This is my concern here. If you're watching this, okay, Pat, what should I do with this information? One, go watch the documentary, The Lost Century, just for yourself to get educated. But two, everybody becomes president. Like, if you become president, are you willing to release the John F. Kennedy assassination and Area 51 information? And every time a president goes in there, they're like, oh, man, I can't do it. Even Trump, if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. If I this, if I that, obviously the fear is, hey, we're going to kind of compromise our own institutions that we have. But what if you're able to go and look up this 1951, the Invention Secrecy Act, and you encourage the president to not necessarily just do John F. Kennedy assassination or Area 51? What if you ask him, can we get rid of this? What happens if we get rid of this? What are these 6,000 patents we're talking about? I want to know. Don't you want to know? Maybe share this video with other people. Go watch the document and start asking politicians, why do we have that in place? Just
okay, we get it. 9:31. Let me see how long this other thing is that I have saved. Let's see where I put it. There's this deal. This is what? The hemp deal. Hold on. And did I not have that thing saved? Hold on. Is that what I think it is? No, it's not. That. Here, let's go over to this. This is about the hemp mobile. Let's take a look at this deal. The hemp mobile. In 1941, Ford built a car that was made from cannabis hemp and powered by hemp fuel. Unfortunately, big oil companies were against it, and they killed many inventions that used any other fuel source instead of petrol. Also researched the 1951 Invention Secrecy Act. We know about that. Oh yeah, we just talked about it.
Henry Ford's hemp car. Anyone who is passionate about hemp's advantages will mention Henry Ford's hemp automobile, which he built in 1941. It featured an engine designed to run on hemp fuel, and the law says it was made entirely of plastics derived from hemp. Is there any truth to this rumor, given that there are no longer any vehicles like those on the road? When he imagined cars made completely of natural, environmentally friendly materials.
This is AI.
Was Henry Ford foreseeing the future? The myth of the hemp vehicle is still widely spread on pro-hemp websites. However, most of them have few supporting historical facts. The real story behind Henry Ford's astonishing innovation starts to come to light with some careful investigation. There are currently several reliable publications on the topic, which are just now becoming known. What served as the hemp
We're debunking the hempmobile
car's source of inspiration. Henry Ford initially had the idea for the cannabis automobile as a solution to the issues of the 1940s, the biggest one being World War II, which resulted in a global lack of steel and finally led to rationing in America. All the steel that was available was used to build warships, tanks, and other military equipment. Steel from the auto sector was often taken away during this time to fund the war.
A car you can smoke. Yeah, Maddie. Dude, that's just like from, what's it called? From Cheech and Chong. It wasn't Up in Smoke? I forget which one. One of the Cheech and Chong movies. They drive that van to smuggle the weed, and the van is the weed. The whole van is like made out of hemp, and it's meant to be like smoked later.
Henry Ford created a car made completely of agricultural goods in an effort to get around this practical issue. Ford, who loved to farm, saw a lot of possibilities in experimenting with various plants. He created a few contemporary items as a result of this investigation.
Micro Machine.
Due to the significantly lower weight, Ford also thought that plastic vehicles were far safer than metal vehicles. Years before we fully comprehended the risks involved with the fossil fuel sector, he expressed his opinions on the safety of hemp products. Ford viewed agriculture as much more than a means of producing food. He was of the opinion that a wide range of demands might be met in America by using goods like soy, corn, and hemp. The modern ethanol market was anticipated by Ford. Over 50 years ago, he foresaw the emergence of plant-based energy. What happened to the hemp car built by Henry Ford? The fact that the initial formulation is no longer in existence is one of the main reasons there is no further information on the hemp automobile today. Likewise, the original video clip's first hemp automobile, which was seen driving about, was destroyed. People weren't back in love with the concept until recently. The steel and oil lobby is one argument as to why the hemp automobile was never successful. The scarcity of steel also ended when the war was over. Because their products were no longer needed during the war, the steel and oil industries fought to stay in business. They exerted significant lobbying pressure on the car industry to retain and utilize their products on the assembly line. Likewise, it's believed that they contributed to the eventual prohibition of hemp by reducing its cultivation. There was little possibility for the hemp business. Why was Henry Ford's hemp car such a success? It wasn't just the novelty of the hemp automobile that made it appealing.
Guys, I don't want to this might be a crazy question. I don't know if maybe there are some examples that other people know of, but I was thinking about this. Like, we have this Invention Secrecy Act here in America, and that's arguably, I mean, they say there's thousands, somewhere around 6,000 patents that have been seized, some of which are propulsion, energy, fuel source related, that they say are a threat to national security and the economy and stuff like that. But what about other countries? Like, I didn't even think about that before, years ago when Stephen Greer first talked about it, or when Valuetainment covered the topic. And he didn't ask the question either, but I wonder if there are laws, like if they've passed stuff. I imagine they have. I mean, and then there's probably countries like Russia and stuff that if you file for a patent, or they just hear that you're working on this and they want you to stop, they just knock on your fucking door and make you stop.
The entire vehicle, aside from the metal frame, was constructed from a variety of agricultural goods. The initial formula is no longer available. What it might have contained is the subject of some conjecture. The majority of sources concur that hemp was a key ingredient in the outside panels of the hemp automobile. Soybean resin may have also been utilized, according to some experts. Henry Ford may have advocated for their use because he had large soybean fields of his own. The soybean automobile is how some publications refer to it. There are references to the plastic being made from wheat, sisal, flax, or rami in other places, including the original video. Whatever the reason, it turned out that the finished panels were 10 times more dent-resistant than conventional steel. The car was also far superior to traditional materials, even though environmental concerns weren't measured.
Okay, so I did look this up on another tab, so I guess there are other countries. Yes, many countries have national security laws governing patents, often requiring inventors to file locally first or restricting foreign filing for sensitive technologies. These laws, which can impose strict penalties like fines or invalidation, exist in countries including China, Germany, France, Japan, UK, prevent disclosure of defense-related or state-sensitive information. Denmark and Israel require security clearance for inventions concerning military or defense tech.
Back then, it was also 25% lighter than comparable cars at the time because of the materials. In comparison to a steel-built automobile, the finished result was 1,000 pounds lighter. Lastly, Ford designed the car to run on fuel that was practically biofuel. Ford wanted his hemp-powered vehicle to use hemp fuel as opposed to diesel or gasoline. He intended to create an automobile from scratch. When will your automobile be powered by a plant? Everyone is curious about how much it costs and when it will be available, as with anything brand new and interesting. Hold on. Remember, Rome wasn't constructed overnight. Building an infrastructure to support widespread application is one of the biggest obstacles facing each new disruptive technology. It will take time to establish an efficient supply chain and manufacturing facilities for a battery built of various materials. The makers of reputable lithium-ion batteries will then present it with fierce rivalry. There is also the long-standing issue of fundamental economics. How much money will consumers be prepared to spend to power their cars? Strong draws include the extra advantages of longer range and faster charging, with sustainability being the icing on the cake. What clean energy, in actuality, is greener than a plant? Fast charging capabilities, low production costs in comparison to other batteries, and being environmentally friendly with 100% recyclable features are the aspects that are anticipated to boost the hemp battery market over the projected period, according to Sato. The demand for less expensive and more environmentally friendly carbon battery solutions will increase significantly as the EV market continues to expand. Plants seem to be in high demand in the EV battery market. Having said that, what is your thought about hemp batteries or hemp cars? Let us...
Oh, it just ends like that. Okay, cool. Cool video. Let me X out some of these. Blam. Kablam. Shablam. Plodow. Splodow. Okay. Maddie said, or maybe the entire idea of free energy is complete bullshit. That is, likely the case. Free energy, I don't know. I mean, that's not even something I was, it's funny because, I mean, it should have been obvious. I was more concerned with the fuel alternative type of talk, the groundbreaking stuff, like the stuff these scientists were working on, the recent people that have gone missing or ended up, Charlie Kirked. But then also the older people like Stan Meyer and the other cases that were brought up tonight with people running their cars off of air and water and whatever. Or not air. The one guy said he used gasoline, but he was able to come up with a system that it would the exhaust from the gasoline would recycle and be used again to power the car or something like that. Yeah, free energy is crazy. I don't know, dude. Is it likely? Okay, so I just imagine that there is some possibility for something like that. Something tells me that there's some truth to it, at least due to the fact that, well, I guess this doesn't prove there's truth to it, but there must have been something legitimate enough for the feds to be requesting all the papers on the Tesla tech and that stuff. I mean, there could have been other shit that they were interested in besides the free energy ether shit that Tesla was apparently into. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. The Stan Meyer guy that I know that there's pushback on his free energy claim or whatever, and he claims to have lied about something on the patent. So I'm sure that just adds, some more confusion to the whole equation. But the car, I don't know if there's much pushback on whether the car actually worked like he thought. I mean, he was demonstrating it in the video. Could have been trickery. I don't know, but I mean, this could be one of those things that like some college kid could easily figure out if they actually tried to put their head to it, to develop a fuel source that's far more efficient than gasoline and like cheaper and everything and cleaner, and just like you could just like go on with the benefits. That guy Stan Meyer apparently did it without a fucking college education, but it just might be one of those things that everyone kind of goes along. Even people that are engineers and into whatever, they'll focus on a certain field, and everybody just keeps taking their fucking car to go to work and stuff, because that's just like everybody fucking just does that. I don't know. It costs about $1 trillion to produce a few grams of antimatter. Well, we're already in a lot of debt. Let's go for it. Let's invest in antimatter. Just throw it on top of the US debt. That's just a drop in the bucket. 1 trillion. All right, guys, I am going to get out of here. It's 9:45 now, lovers. I just figured this would be something interesting to go over and talk about. And also, again, like I said yesterday, I feel like this is something to keep in mind as we're all fighting on what to do with the Strait of Hormuz and the Iran situation and what the Trump administration is doing and all of this. We're fighting about all of this shit, and there may be evidence that there is technology out there that could make all these problems go away, at least with the bloodshed in the Middle East over some fucking oil barrels. Of course, it's gonna cause other problems. I'm sure. No, I mean, to be real, you'd have to imagine what it would actually look like. I mean, if we're not hoping for the most utopian outcome ever and expecting that, what would be the immediate outcome of a bunch of people in different countries utilizing this alternative fuel tech in their cars and running them off of, driving hundreds of miles and using a few gallons of water that you can just buy from the fucking gas station. You can drive across the United States on 20 gallons of water. I mean, that would probably, some of these countries in the Middle East would probably get fucked, like in the short term. But would it be worth it in the long term and stuff? It's something to consider. This whole issue about it being a national security threat, it might not. I'm not one of these people that says that is, it's complete bullshit. You guys are just saying that so you can keep us all poor or something. It might actually, they might actually be, well, I'm sure they are, squandering the technology and or stealing it and using it for their own purposes and biases and being corrupt with the information. But there is probably a hint of that it would actually have some short-term but substantial side effects. So it is something to consider. But anyway, yeah, guys, I will be back on tomorrow, hopefully around like 8 p.m. Eastern time. I think Scott should be back on tomorrow. Our boy Scott Starbird, he's a hustler. He's been working hard. So yeah, he couldn't make the stream tonight. I'm sure he'll be back on tomorrow around 6:15-ish p.m. Eastern time. And I don't know what the_fat_pig. He'll be on maybe tomorrow at some point. Check in on his channel too. I know he did the Pigpen show today. I'm not sure about Wednesdays, but I know they'll be back on for sure on Thursday for the Pigpen show around 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then also don't forget, we've got Alex Stein, our boy, the legend, the pimp on the blimp himself, over on the Real America Voice channel on YouTube. And he goes on at around 11 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, lovers, I'll see you guys then. Please turn those headlights around. I don't know that song. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Good night, lovers. Erwin, Johnny Z, thank you guys for hanging. Truth. Thank you all for the support. I love you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hang in there, lovers. Mwah.